May the Lord give this council the wisdom, discernment and courage to serve the community. Grant also that we may act compassionately and in integrity in the best interest of this shire. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. I would like to show respect and acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of the land and elders past, present and future on which this meeting takes place. Thank you, councillors. Okay, welcome councillors to the last council meeting of the year. And we'll get straight into it, Mr. GM. Applications for attending meeting via video link.
No, there's nil, Mr. Mayor.
Nil. Apologies or application for leave of absence.
There's no apologies or applications for leave.
Public participation.
There's nil public participation, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we'll move straight into the confirmation of the minutes of the Albury Council meeting held on the 27th of November. I'd like to move Councillor Clout, second Councillor Campbell. Any questions, comment, discussion? All in favour? Against? Carried. Disclosure of interest.
Mr. Mayor, I have one disclosure of interest submitted from Councillor McPhee. It's in regard to item SCR 12.1. She's declaring a pecuniary significant interest as she has a DA for a residential address that's in the minutes of the ENC committee meeting. She will also leave the room during discussion.
Thank you, Mr. GM. Okay, councillors, page 8, the Environmental Community Service. We're going to do these in different blocks. So just the one, adopt the minutes of the Environmental Services. Move Councillor Watts, second Councillor Burns. Any questions, comment, discussion? All in favour? Against? So Councillor Collison, Councillor Williamson, Councillor Watts, Councillor McPhee, Councillor McKenzie, Councillor Clout, Councillor Campbell, Councillor Burns for the adoption, and against is Councillor Flaherty. Dot point 2, Councillor McPhee, you leaving the room? No, that's not right. Sorry. No, it's not. Sorry. Wrong end of the town. So we'll deal with dot point 2, councillors. Move Councillor Watts, second Councillor Burns. Any questions, comment, discussion? All in favour, show of hands. Motion is carried. Dot point 3.
I'll move with a change, Mr. Mayor. Everything the same except for on point B. I've sent this through to your email, Robin. Place the draft on Upper Hunter land use strategy on public exhibition for a period of 28 days from the 1st of February 2024.
Thank you. We're all clear with that. Any more questions, comment, discussion around it? All in favour, show of hands. It's carried. Dot point 4. Move Councillor Burns, second Councillor McPhee. Any questions, comment, discussion? All in favour, show of hands. It's carried. Dot point 5, Councillor McPhee, you're leaving. Okay, councillor, we're going to move it for dot point 5. Move Councillor Campbell, second Councillor Clout. Any questions, comment, discussion? All in favour? Motion is carried. Thank you. Ask councillor to come back in. Councillor McPhee, that was passed in the affirmative, so you're okay to build your carport. Over to page 140. Which is the Environment Infrastructure Services Committee. 2 parts of it. Move Councillor Campbell, second Councillor Clout. Any questions, comment, discussion? All in favour? Against? Carried. Over to page 145 is SCR 12.3 Corporate Services Committee.
Move with an addition, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor
That
Burns.
this council recognises the letter sent by the Minister, the Honourable Ron Honig, MP, Minister for Local Government, with regards to the investigation into the Upper Hunter Shire Council.
Councillor Burns, do you wish to put that as a dot point 3 or just a comment dot point 3? So we've got a mover, Councillor Burns, we've got a seconder. Councillor Williamson.
Yeah, and I'd also like to amend
You-
that dot
did-
point 4.
Did you just move
No,
a second, sorry? or
I seconded. So I'd
You
like
wish to put a
ask
dot point 4?
the mover,
Plus,
if the mover would be happy, thanks, Lee. If the mover would be happy if we moved a fourth dot point, asking for community feedback for names for consideration for the Bellman Hangar. It's something that didn't come up in the meeting there. But if we could put in a fourth dot point, just asking for community consultation on 4 names, which have been passed to Robin there, but 1 is the Upper Hunter Shire Warbird Conservation Hangar, 2 is the Coalpay Warbird Conservation Hangar, 3 is the Hunter Warbird Conservation Hangar, 4 is the Scone Memorial Airport Warbird Conservation Hangar, please.
Councillor Burns, I think you nodded you're quite happy with that dot point. So that's moved by Councillor Burns, second by Councillor Williamson. Any more questions, comment, discussion around it?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, can we vote on these as separate items or must they all be one block?
Well, it's pretty straightforward. The minutes, the corporate services, the variation and the other 2. Which ones do you wish to?
Well, I think they're all different things and it would be great to vote on them separately.
It's my decision, isn't it?
You can put it to the council, actually.
You know, I think I might take the heat off me, councillors. So Councillor Flaherty wishes to do 1, 2, 3 and 4. Those in favour of putting the lot up at 1, 2, 3, 4, raise your hands, please. So that's Collison, Burns, Campbell, Clout, Mackenzie, McPhee and Watts. And you're on the fence.
Yeah, I'm on the fence. I'm happy to do it anyway.
Mr.
Okay.
Mayor, can I just clear that up though? If you've put forward you've put forward 2 additional amendments and you've moved them and seconded them, how can you then separate them?
Well, I can't really because well, we're not
Just
going-
asking the question.
No, okay, well, we're not going to anyway. So it looks like with the whole lot of going up together was moved by Councillor Burns, second by Councillor Williamson. So we're doing the whole lot together, councillors? All in favour? Didn't I do that? Okay, yes, I did. I think I did, but anyway. Oh, you want to close the debate, right?
I think I'll close the debate. So we've got the letter back from the minister and it's, you know, a great thing that democracy does. We have systems in place and everyone gets to have their say. That's fine. The minister's letter has reiterated what we already do each year within the OLG and the Auditor General's world. We get audited 4 times a year. We're the only level of government that gets audited 4 times a year. We see people coming in and out. This animal that is local government is huge. Now, the minister has said that he's going to be keeping an eye on our regulatory things through OLG. He will be keeping an eye on council's financial position. Well, guess what? He already does. He did that. And guess he's doing that for Newcastle. He's doing that for the city of Sydney. The Minister of Local Government is checking on us all the time. We can't turn around without having someone look at our finances. And as for governance, well, I was lucky enough to go and represent this organisation at the local government conference a few weeks ago. And the minister was good enough to come and speak to us. And he said, people get the difference between governance and politics mixed up. He said, transparency is not what everyone thinks it is. they need to go back and look it up in the dictionary. Not my words, they're his. I agree with him. But this letter has done nothing but serve to show that we are doing the right thing. And there are shires that are much worse off than us. We are moving towards everyone's understanding that we're in financial stress. Everyone is. We're in a downturn. Everyone gets that. But to say that we are leaking money, my God, what a pathetic attempt to have us thrown out.
Thank you, councillor Burns. Any other comment? Oh, that's the end of the debate, sorry. So all in favour? Against? Councillor Flaherty's against. Councillor Collison, Williamson, Watts, McPhee, McKenzie, Clout, Campbell and Burns for. Motion is carried. Over to page 151 is the Community Advisory Committee of Merriwall. Move councillor Campbell, second councillor Clout. Questions, comment, discussion? All in favour? Against? Motion is carried. Over to C 12.2, the Community Advisory Committee of Aberdeen District. Going to move up. Move councillor Clout, second councillor McPhee. Questions, comment, discussion? All in favour? Against? Carried. Over to C 12.3, Community Advisory Committee of Scone District. Got a move up. Move councillor Watts, second councillor Clout. Any questions, comment, discussion? Councillor Watts.
I see with most of the other community advisory committees, they do get up and running. Unfortunately, Scone hasn't been very successful with this process. So I wonder if maybe in the new year we may revisit what's happening or put a call out for new expressions of interest. I don't think 3 people sitting around a table is really an overall look or an overall input for the community.
Thank you, councillor Watts. And I'll just add to that. I was in the office that day. If I had known that councillors weren't going to come, I could have made a point because I know councillors are very busy. And I think it's councillors need to know if you're going to put an apology in, you need to put the apology in to the staff, not send a community member along to apologise. And I'm going to add a little bit more. I have mentioned it before. Councillors, it's important you RSVP to all meetings, yes or no. I can't fill in to make a quorum, and I'd hate to see councillor Watts travel miles the other day to get sent back disappointed. It's not very hard to send an RSVP yes or no. Then it's my responsibility then to try and fill the role. Thank you. Any more questions, comments?
Yeah, I've got a comment, Mr. Mayor. We've got CBD revitalisation there. The project is going along well. We've got tar down today. It's taken us. How long did you do it, councillor Watts? It was 6 years before my term, so that's a long time. Tar down today. The sandstone blocks are in, the plants are in. We were lucky enough to have what was, I had to say, the hottest night that we could ever had it, which was a joint venture between the council and the chambers the other night down Kelly Street. That will get better. That will get better because once we get the trees in there and there's a little bit more shade, it's going to be easier and people will be able to enjoy it a lot more. But the important thing here is it has actually kicked up, and it's almost to the point where they're going to swap sides of road, which is really important. So we're on the downhill slide. Everyone just needs to stick with us. Just on the point of quorums, I can think of at least 1,200 people or 1,201 that would love to be on a committee. So I think, there's a few out there that will volunteer next year.
Thank you, councillor Burns. No more questions, comment? Councillor McPhee.
I'd just like to publicly thank Darracon. They really made sure that a lot of that work was done so that the evening was successful. And I think people really started to see how it's going to look, and there was a lot of positive feedback from that. So thank you to Darracon for that and everybody who was involved. The other thing is, I think point 4, we have to look at some architectural elements. Is that also part of the agenda? Mr Chair?
Mr Mayor, item 4 is a recommendation that the architectural elements be adopted. If councillors want to change that or have actual particular views around what architectural elements, that's fine. The report does suggest the use of some sort of tin or timber type treatment. The Scone CAC did support that generally, but if councillors have got particular views, they can give their views now.
Through you, Mr Chair, I think option 3, if it didn't, I think it looks a little bit like an outhouse at the moment, but if we had kind of like new looking corrugated iron, that may look very, very, very good. I don't know what other people think. The other question is, can we actually vote on this, seeing that they didn't get a quorum? Is this something we can actually discuss tonight?
Mr GM.
Yeah, look, the CAC only had 3 community members from memory and 1 councillor. So it was taken as a record of proceedings. I think that given that there was no representation at the CAC, it's appropriate that the council makes the decision, given that we want to keep moving forward on this.
So we had a move of councillor Watts, seconded councillor Clout. So councillor McPhee, you didn't wish to add it, that was just a comment around it. So we'll just document that comment. Thank you. No more questions, comment, discussion. All in favour? Against? Carried. Stuck page here. Over to page 168, the Community Advisory Committee of Marundi District. Mover. Move councillor Watts, second councillor Burns. Any questions, comment, discussion? All in favour? Against? Carried. Over to page 173 is G 12.1, the guidelines for risk management internal audit in New South Wales. 4 points of recommendation. We just got to nominate a councillor. Point 1.
I'll move this and nominate councillor McPhee
Councillor McPhee will take that spot.
for her sins.
Seconder, councillor Campbell. So the other dot points as is. Questions, comment, discussion.
Oh, look, Mr Mayor, this is another example of how we're being watched. And we are. It's another example of how governance is being checked off. Finances are being checked off. Our risk is being checked off. It's not like we're out there going to the, with this committee, and I've sat in on these committees, but with this committee, it's not like you're going to the casino and putting it all on black. It's that, you are being watched. And whilst there have been mistakes made in the past, it's certainly something that this committee, this Audit and Risk Committee, flagged very early on and brought to us new ways of getting moving into the future. So I'd just like the public to know that it's an important part of what we do. It is a mandatory thing now. We were one of the first councils to actually adopt this, and you didn't have to have one. And it was at considerable cost, but we still did it anyway. It's an important thing that everyone understand that we do internal audits, and they are reported to the Auditor General.
Thank you, councillor Burns. No more. Councillor McPhee, just a comment.
Just so people are aware, this is a council. This is actually a group of people who are independent of the council. They meet, they go through our papers, they go through our numbers, they question all the relevant people. The councillor sits on that and observes. And this is actually, as I'd just like to reiterate what Councillor Burns said, this is another process to ensure that we have our governance in check, and we're ensuring that we have our due diligence done.
Thank you, councillor McPhee. No more questions, comment. All in favour? Against? Carried. Over to page 184 is the risk management. We had a workshop on this. Councillors, got a mover. Move councillor Burns, second councillor Clout. Any questions, comment, discussion? All in favour? Against? Carried. Over to page 216, G 12.3 is the Code of Conduct Complaints Statistics Report 2023. Move councillor McPhee, second that councillor Burns. Any questions, comment, discussion? Councillor McPhee,
Just to clarify, it's staggering how much money has been spent on this year. I can't say because I mean, obviously it's a total. I'm assuming that the two breaches that we had that formally censured councillor Clarity were part of that. Could I have clarification on that, please?
Mr. DM,
Through Mr. Mayor, those costs would be included in that report. Yep.
any more questions, comment, discussion? All in favour? Against? Motion is carried. Missing a marker here somewhere. Here we go. Okay, G 12.4, request for donations.
Can I move this with an amendment, please, Mr.
You
Mayor?
can, councillor Watts.
I'd like to keep with the amendment, the recommendation 1 and add to the Cassels District Development Group that they also get their donation. 2 would be 2B. We're not provide a donation to Rotary Club. And can I add a 3 for councillors to reconsider the donation policy, please?
So councillor Watts, you wish to put Cassels in the $200 towards their fees? So the $200 will put towards their fees. And B, you wish to,
Leave.
the Rotary Club,
B?
2B to give the same $200.
No, to remain as it is.
To remain as is,
Yes. And
Right,
then
yep.
3,
to look at the new.
yes.
Yes, I certainly agree with you. Second by councillor Campbell, you're all very clear, councillors, what it is?
And can I speak to
You
it,
can speak,
please?
yes.
Okay, there's a couple of things. The first one is each month we get opportunities to request donations, and each month we usually pick something that's not in the donation. So I think it's time that we reconsider. Quite often something comes up that is more to the community benefit than turning around and saying, no, we shouldn't support that thing. So maybe we can look at it in a different way. I'd just like to say with the digital program, this is a fantastic program that helps mainly our senior community to get up to date and access digital devices as well as being able to use them. People in Cassels are already behind the hardball being out there in a remote area, and this is like a program that will teach them to not only use the devices but to stay in touch with the community and learn how to access a whole range of different information as well. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Watts. Yeah, just a comment, it makes it very hard, but yeah, charity. When the charity comes in, it doesn't meet our rules and regulations, so that's fine. Everyone's clear on the, okay, all in favour? Against? Motion is carried. Over to page 233, G 12.5, School Achievements in Creative Arts Excellence Awards. Got a mover?
This one and the next one, the Australia Day Awards, move that into at the end of council, what do we call that, closed, so that we consider it all at once.
Okay, we've got a second for that, councillors. Councillor Clout, so that's moving this one here and Australia Day into closed council at the end. All in favour? Against? Carried. Over to page 241. Classification of land lot 1DP 127554154A Barton Street, Scone. Got to make it spin out a bit, councillor Burns. Move, councillor Burns. Second, councillor McPhee. Questions, comment, discussion? All in favour? Against? Carried. Okay. We'll move over to page 250, notice of motion. Closure of the National Australia Bank Scone. Move councillor Burns, got a seconder, councillor McKenzie, councillor Burns.
Just like to reiterate, Mr. Mayor, for the punters at home, that number one in this notice of motion understands that the staff of the local level are not responsible for the proposed closure of the Scone branch of the NAB and remain faithful to the flesh and blood customers in the banking system. Now, Mr. Mayor, I did some investigation about this before I put this together. And last year, the NAB posted a profit of 7.731 billion. And then I got my kids to come in and show me some stuff about maths because I'm not very good at it. And if you spend $1 every second, to spend $1 million, it takes you about 32 days. If the NAB want to spend their profit from last year, it will take them 247 years at $1 a second. Now, just let that sink in for a second, right? So let's just pretend that the NAB branch down in Scone only made a profit of $1 million last year. I think it's laughable, but that's what we're going to pretend. So they've contributed to the 7.731 billion that the fat cats in Sydney are going to spend for the next 247 years. And now those fat cats in cost cutting are going to shut the branch down. So we can't have a branch because they'll lose $1 million, which will mean that, 13 days out of that 247 years, they can't spend money. But it also means that the little old ladies and the little old men, like my grandparents, your grandparents, people we all know, can't go down to the bank. Now, I was encouraged to take, so I had this motion was a lot bigger than this, and I was encouraged to take a bit of it out, and that's fine. I understand why. But part of the original motion had us calling for the customers of the NAB to leave them. And I would urge the people to do that. Money talks and something else walks. So the NAB needs to be given a shake-up, and so does the Commonwealth, the Westpac, even down to the Regional Australia Bank. Any bank that's in our shire needs to be under no illusion that we will fight back. They need us because they take a lot of money out of our shire and put it into their 7.731 billion. So that's their money that they're spending in the next 247 years that we're not spending here. There's no reason why they can't stay there. It doesn't cost them that much in rent. It doesn't cost them that much in staff. They should be staying, and it's ridiculous.
Thank you, councillor Burns. Councillor McPhee.
I think also people now may not be physically going into the bank or the hours, and this is no slight on the staff at all. But because of the opening hours, it's very difficult to get to the bank when it is open. But there is a lot of investment through NAB in the area. So there are millions of dollars invested in this region without even people going into the bank. And it feels like that's not even being acknowledged. The other thing is we've actually shown that if you look at the projections for the next several years, there's actually going to be an increase of population in this area. And so I'm just wondering why banks such as the NAB are actually reducing their services when we're actually looking at seeing projected larger numbers in the area in the future.
Thank you, councillor McPhee. Any other questions, comment? I'm not going to argue about your figures, councillor Burns. It's still haven't sunk in.
Might be a few mistakes there, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, all in favour? Against? Carried. Councillors, I think that brings us to closed council. So before we ask a couple in the gallery to go, I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Thank you for showing an interest in our council and the familiar faces throughout the year, and you have a very safe and happy Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Someone like to move us into close, please. Move councillor Clout, second councillor McKenzie, all in favour? Against, carried.